Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga ka-idol. Kumusta na po ang lahat? So dito po tayo sa ibang issue na po mga ka-idol. So paiba mo tayo ngayon mga ka-idol sa ating content dahil po lain ang mga araw mga ka-idol. Puro lang tayo sumakay po sa issue tungkol po sa flood control project mga ka-idol na di umano'y pinagkaguluhan ngayon sa social media mga ka-idol. So marami na sanang buayang na nahuli pero biglang nagbago ang sitwasyon mga ka-idol. So hopefully darating din ng araw na mahuhuli itong mga buaya mga ka-idol na nagtago. Na nagtago dyan sa mga... Saan ba nagtago yan mga ka-idol? So nagtago dyan sa mga malaking building mga ka-idol. So dito po tayo ngayon sa update po sa kaso po ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte mga ka-idol. So inaabangan sana sa sambayan ng Pilipino yung confirmation of charges sa kaso po ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte doon po sa International Criminal Court sa ICC. Ngayon sanang 23 mga ka-idol. Pero na-postpone ang confirmation of charges mga ka-idol. So para malaman na po natin po mga ka-idol kung ano mga kadahilanan bakit na-postpone po yung confirmation of charges. So panoorin po natin si Attorney Ni FPRRD mga ka-idol sa kanyang mga explanation, mga legal matters mga ka-idol. So talagang step by step po ang kanyang explanation. So kayo po ang aking mga followers, mga listeners dyan, mga viewers. So huwag niyong kalimutan na i-subscribe po si Attorney Ni FPRRD. Attorney Nil ang kanyang YouTube account mga ka-idol. Sa ganun din po sa ibang platform, sa TikTok at saka sa Facebook. So bisitahin po niyo mga ka-idol kung gusto kayo ng mga legal matters, mga legal education mga ka-idol. So si Attorney Ni FPRRD ay matinik to na abogado mga ka-idol. So panoorin po natin ang kanyang explanation tungkol po dito sa pag-postpone sa confirmation of charges ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte doon po sa ICC mga ka-idol.
Okay, so good day taong bayan at ngayon po papag-usapan natin itong pinaka-recent decision ng pretrial chamber sa kaso po sa ICC case ni FPRRD. Okay, so yung decision po nila is pinospone po nila yung confirmation of charges hearing which was supposedly to be held on September 23, 2025. So this is just a 5-pager decision but I will be explaining it po in as much detail as possible. So magbe-break po muna tayo from flood control videos kasi medyo madami na po tayong nagawa dyan. So kung gusto po nyo ng flood control, isearch nyo na lang po sa channel ko. Madami-dami na po yun yung nandun. Okay, but for today, FPRRD case po muna tayo. Okay, ngayon start po tayo sa discussion. So of course, huwag niyo po sana kalimutan i-like itong video na to and mag-subscribe po sa YouTube channel ko kung hindi pa kayo nakasubscribe. Okay? So unang-una po, I will be verifying our document kasi ayaw natin sa fake news, di ba? We have an advocacy against fake news and gusto lang natin ay yung katotohanan at yung nasa batas lang. Okay? So anyway po, we have to look at first here yung pinaka-seal ng International Criminal Court. So makita nyo, Cor Penale Internacional. In English, International Criminal Court, which stands for ICC. And then yung logo po ng ICC nandito sa gitna. And then this one here, yung case number po yan and other information pa. Then of course, pre-trial chamber 1 before the judges, yung 3 judges, sila Julia Anotuela Motok, Rena Adelaide Sofia Alapin Sigansu, Maria del Socorro Flores Lera. Situation in the Republic of the Philippines in the case of the prosecutor versus Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Public decision postponing the hearing on the confirmation of charges dated September 8, 2025. Okay, so kung gusto nyo po mabasa tong document na to mismo rin, isearch nyo lang po sa Google Duterte case ICC tapos lalabas po yon yung kaso ni FPRRD. Tapos i-click nyo lang po yung court records yan sa may right side po yon lalabas. Tapos pag lumabas po yun, makikita nyo na agad yung pinaka-list from the most recent decision or mga pleadings filed po by the parties. Okay? So pinakauna po dyan, like what we have already seen in numerous decisions from the pretrial chamber and the filed pleadings po ng mga party litigants, palagi po yan may presentation of facts so far of the case. Meaning yung from the start hanggang umabot sa present situation. Okay? So magbi-brief history lesson po muna tayo para mas maintindihan nyo yung kaso, di ba? Kung maalala po ninyo, on 12 March 2025, this was the day Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte was surrendered to the court pursuant to a warrant of arrest issued by the chamber on 7 March 2025. So kung titingnan po ninyo, March March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months na po basically si FPRRD. Magsi 6 months po sa September 12. So matagal, kahit ako po matagal-tagal or madami-dami na rin akong videos na gawa nito. Kasi even prior to this date po of arrest ni FPRRD, I actually made a video about this kasi ang dami nang kumakalat na balita before. So nireview ko yung mga available data sa atin to the public online. Wala po akong makitang warrant of arrest nun. Pero yun nga, it is confidential pala. Tinago nila basically sa public. Okay, pero anyway po, next naman po tayong paragraph. On March 14, 2025, Mr. Duterte made his first appearance before the chamber which decided that the hearing on the confirmation of charges on 23 September 2025. So itong 23 September 2025, ito po yung na-postpone dito sa decision na to. At ito pong March 14, 2025, ito yung nag-appear via video conference si FPRRD and then si Attorney Medialdea pa po yung lawyer niya noon na nag-appear sa pre-trial chamber mismo. Okay? And then on April 17, 2025, the chamber issued an order on the conduct of confirmation proceedings. So more or less po ang nakikita ko dito, itong order of the conduct of confirmation proceedings. This is somewhat similar po sa atin dito sa, let's say, para po siyang pre-trial order ng court basically. Pero instead na pre-trial proceedings yung gagawin, ang mangyayari supposedly dito sa 23 September ay parang magiging arraignment po ng akusado. Yun yung somewhat equivalent dito sa procedure natin. Kasi wala naman pong confirmation of charges sa atin but we have arraignment po dito sa atin. So kung naririnig po ninyo yung arraignment, yun po sana more or less yung mangyayari. Parang ganun po yung mangyayari sana on September 23, 2025. Kaso nga na-postpone. Okay? But anyway, going back po on 17 April 2025, nilabas ng court ng order. And then kung makita po nyo dito, the prosecution concluded its disclosure of evidence on July 1, submitted document containing charges, filed corrected version of the pre-confirmation brief on 24 July 2025. So sinubmit po lahat ng required documents sa side ng prosecution on 24 July 2025. Tapos kung makita nyo, nag-submit din sila ng pre-confirmation brief, diba? So para talaga siyang pre-trial brief in a sense po dito sa atin. Okay? And then after po niyan, August 18, 2025, the defense submitted the defense request for an indefinite adjournment, seeking that all legal proceedings, including the hearing on the confirmation of charges, be adjourned indefinitely based on its assertion that Mr. Duterte is not fit to stand trial, which the court now refers to as the adjournment request. So ito po, itong part na to, this is the part po in the old pleadings filed by Attorney Kaufman kung saan ang daming redacted doon na kung maalala po ninyo, yung court may mga redacted pero ayaw nila i-touch on yung decision kasi it will undergo litigation pa daw. So ngayon na lumabas tong decision na to, ang tingin ko ito yun siya, yung isa sa mga redacted. And then dun din po sa last video ko about the new interim release request, yung ang dami rin pong redacted doon pero yung hula ko is because of the health po yun, FPRRD, yung mga redacted provisions doon. So mukhang yun nga talaga health related kasi ang argument nila Attorney Kaufman, Mr. Duterte is not fit to stand trial. Okay? So ngayon na lumabas to, mas nagme-make sense na lahat ng mga redacted na parts ng mga pleadings and decisions po ng ICC, ng pre-trial chamber ng ICC dun sa mga past po na yun nga, pleadings and orders. Okay? Anyway po, of course, on August 2028, prosecution opposed the adjournment request. This is expected naman po kasi syempre yung prosecution gusto nila magtuloy-tuloy yung case para makonvict yung isang akusado. Yun naman yun. And then on 29 August 2025, the Office of Public Counsel for Victims also opposed the adjournment request, which is of course also expected din po yan kasi syempre lawyer ka ng mga biktima, diba? So kung gusto mo magtuloy-tuloy talaga yung kaso. And then next po dito sa paragraph 7, sabi ng the chamber notes that litigation regarding Mr. Duterte's fitness to participate in the pretrial proceedings is ongoing in connection with the defense adjournment request. So ibig sabihin lang po nito, yung adjournment request is still undergoing proceedings po sa court. Nire-review pa po ng court yung arguments ng both parties in relation to the adjournment request. Okay? Undergoing litigation pa po siya. At ang next po, sabi ng court dyan, they recall the chamber's duty pursuant to Rule 121.1 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence to ensure the enjoyment of the suspect's rights under Article 67 of the Rome Statute. So ang point po ng court dito sa second part ng sentence na to is that while nag-undergo ng litigation yung adjournment request ng defense, alam naman daw po nila yung mga karapatan ng isang suspect under Article 67 of the Rome Statute. Okay? And then ito naman po yung sa paragraph 8, dito diniscuss ng majority. When you say majority dito, ito yung 2 out of 3 dun sa mga judges ng pretrial chamber. Diniscuss po nila yung limitation lang ng postponement. Okay, so basahin po muna natin. In accordance with the chamber's duty to ensure the fair and expeditious conduct of the proceedings, the above mentioned postponement will be limited to the time strictly necessary to determine whether Mr. Duterte is fit to follow and participate in the pretrial proceedings, including the confirmation of charges hearing and to adjudicate the adjournment request. So yung postponement po, itong current postponement postponement na ginawa ng pretrial chamber is limited lang until madesisyonan yung issue na whether or not fit to participate si FPRRD sa pretrial and all other hearings pa. So yung magandang question actually dito sa paragraph na to, ano ang mangyayari kung let's say ang maging decision or yung lalabas sa findings is that FPRRD is not fit to participate? Will the case still proceed ba or madidismiss na yung case or gagrantan ba siya ng interim release? So binago ko na po yung pronunciation. So anyway po, yun yung magandang question dito sa paragraph na to. Diba? Kasi yung sinabi ng majority dito ng pretrial chamber, once ma-solve na yung issue of whether or not fit si FPRRD, dun po matitigil or mawawala na yung postponement. So yun nga po, yung magandang question sana na malaman natin next, ano ang sagot kung malalabas na not fit to participate si FPRRD? Okay, so ito po yung actually one of the main interesting parts dito sa decision ng court na to kasi hindi rin po nila diniscuss eh. And then ito pong paragraph 9, wala na to, this is just a very procedural discussion lang kasi under Rule 121.9 and 122.3 may specific timelines dito na kailangan i-comply ng party. So habang nakasuspend sila or nakapostpone po yung proceedings, nakasuspend din tong rules na to. Hindi kailangan sundin ng party litigants yung mga timelines requested or required nito for the confirmation of charges. Okay? And then paragraph 10, nakalagay po dito, moreover, the majority notes that the prosecution has already concluded its evidence disclosure and the DCC and the PCB have already been made available to all parties and participants. Therefore, without prejudice to the forthcoming decision on adjournment request, parties and participants shall be ready to immediately resume the proceedings on the confirmation of the charges. Should Mr. Duterte be found fit to participate in these proceedings. Okay. So ang una pong interesting question dito is bakit pinospone ng pretrial chamber yung proceedings until madesisyonan yung issue na whether or not fit to stand trial po ba si FPRRD. Okay? And the reason po kung bakit pinospone because of that issue ng pretrial chamber is more or less because po pag lumabas kasing hindi fit for trial si FPRRD, kailangan nila i-grant yung adjournment request. Okay? And the reason being kung bakit kailangan i-grant yung adjournment request kung hindi fit for trial ang isang akusado because hindi po makaka-participate ng maayos yung akusado pag hindi siya fit for trial. Okay? Therefore, pag hindi po makaparticipate ng maayos ang isang akusado, that will now affect the rights of an accused. Okay? So, pag maapektuhan yung rights ng akusado, edi magkaka-issue dun sa full proceedings kasi pwede ngayon pwede i-argue later on ng defense na nag-proceed sila despite the accused not being fit. So, na-violate yung human rights niya and because of that, posible pong magkaroon ng issues or ma-question yung mga mangyari sa proceedings. Because they also have to respect po the rights of the accused. Nasa Rome statute din po yan and sa rules of procedure ng ICC mismo. Kaya nga dito sa paragraph 7 po kung makikita ninyo, sinabi ulit yan at binanggit nung pretrial chamber and recalls the chamber's duty pursuant to Rule 121.1 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence and to ensure the enjoyment of the suspect's rights under Article 67 of the Rome statute. Okay? So yan po more or less yung rason kaya inantay muna ng pretrial chamber na madesisyonan yung issue na whether or not fit for trial po ba talaga si FPRRD as a suspect or sa atin accused usually yung tawag po eh. Okay, so hopefully klaro po yan. So ang sagot po dyan, hindi po madidismiss naman yung kaso because ang mangyayari lang doon, antayin lang ng court na maging fit for trial si FPRRD. And that scenario lang po, ang mangyayari more or less is igagrant lang tong adjournment request ng defense, di ba? So yung adjournment po will be until the time that FPRRD will be fit for trial. Okay, so again, tandaan po ninyo, this is a scenario po kung saan ma-declare as not fit for trial si FPRRD. At yung kagandahan po niyan, kung mag-grant yung adjournment request, of course, hindi po nila pwede i-unreasonably detain si FPRRD as an accused while he is waiting to become fit for trial. So in other words, ang point ko po dyan, baka po ngayon mag-grant din yung interim release ni FPRRD na request. So more or less yan po yan yung legal theory behind this. Okay? Kasi related po yung adjournment request and postponement and yung interim release na pag-grant. Okay? So medyo technical po yun pero hopefully po naintindihan nyo yung main point ko talaga dito. And lastly po, gusto ko lang din i-point out ang isa po sa crucial talaga dito is kung lumabas talaga na hindi fit for trial si FPRRD. Kung lumabas po yun, lahat po nung diniscuss ko kanina ay posibleng mangyari. Okay? Which is yun nga, una, igagrant yung adjournment request. Most likely po, igagrant yung adjournment request. And then, of course, since adjourned yung proceedings, hindi naman pwede i-detain nila dun sa FPRRD without a valid reason. Diba? Hindi pwede magkaroon ng unreasonable detention. So, more or less, pupunta or papasok na ngayon yung interim release request naman ni FPRRD. Diba? So, kung makita po nyo in this situation, parang pangit naman po kung lalabas not fit for trial sa FPRRD kasi ibig sabihin nun, he is no longer healthy, di ba? He has health issues. But if we look at it on the legal side of things, that will actually be beneficial sa legal side of things. Pero in the personal side of things, health-wise, hindi rin siya maganda. So para siyang, in other words, para pong double-bladed sword kung lalabas as not fit for trial si FPRRD. Okay? So anyway, hanggang dyan lang po muna yung discussion natin. Hopefully, naintindihan po ninyo yun. If you like more legal educational videos or current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all. Bye-bye!